G'day, ladies and gents, and welcome back to War Thunder. At the time of recording, it is currently 5:45 in the morning, and I've been up all night. I've been trying to get footage for the Hunter F6 and the Stormer HVM, and now that you're seeing the AMX-30 Super, that's pretty much the reason why. I haven't been able to get any usable gameplay footage for either vehicle. But here we go, AMX-30 Super. I honestly was really looking forward to this vehicle. And one of the things that particularly perked my interest was the upgraded engine and the stabilizer. So, for those of you who don't know, the AMX-30 Super was a German export variant of the AMX-30. So, there's no 20mm. They upgraded the engine to the engine of the Leopard 1, and they gave it a new fire control system, which included a two-plane stabilizer. This makes me happy. This makes me really happy. After playing the Brennus at 8.7 and suffering because it had no stabilizer, I finally get an 8.7 AMX-30 that has a goddamn stabilizer. And not just a stabilizer either. It has an extra couple of horsepower, which gives it a little big tick in my book, honestly. An extra big tick, let's say. I really like the Brennus's gun, and I really like the rounds that it fires. The chassis itself was pretty cool as well, but not having that little bit extra horsepower and not having that stabilizer was a really big disadvantage that I found that I really missed on other vehicles, and especially at 8.7, where you were facing pretty much everything else with a stabilizer. The only thing that does not have a stabilizer are some of the IFVs, and let's just say you shouldn't be, looking at facing only IFVs. It's pretty low bar. But here we are on the Middle East in the AMX-30 Super. I honestly think this is the new Superboy. Move over AMX-50 Surbasse. The Superboy is now the AMX-30 Super. This tank, I have to say, I'm really impressed by. It's kind of like a Leopard, but a French Leopard, like an OUIOPARD. OUIOPARD. That there is an OUF-40. Why is it an OUF-40? Because he's dead. You basically shoot the upper front plate, and it's basically an Italian Leopard, a Leopardo da Vinci, if you will. It's this tier just seems to be dominated by fast-moving things that shoot darts with a stabilizer, and you know what? I'm perfectly fine with that because it's not quite top tier. No one quite has a lot of armor. The lineups are more complete, and people don't play as rigidly. Everyone plays a little bit more loosely, and everyone seems to have a little bit more fun. And I really like 8.7 for that reason. I get myself a decent AA. I get myself a decent lineup. I've got some good CAS. If I'm Germany, I have probably the best lineup. Maybe aside from Russia, who's maybe equal first. The Americans get some decent stuff. They get a Rice passive. They get the Sergeant York. They get the AH-1G. Stuff like that. This whole tier is just beautiful. I really love it. And you'll see one of the things that the AMX-30 is good for at this tier is using those flanking positions. So you can see there, that's a big lemming train. I'm looking at what to shoot at first. So what I go for is the thing that will light me up the most and the thing that will, draw the others' attention. That is the Gepard. And the Gepard is the first one down. Now I'm waiting for this OUF-40 to sort of pass the rocks a little bit. I shoot it on the left-hand side, right-hand side facing me, and I am about to turn this into a giant shooting gallery. I've got another one the exact same way, and I'm about to pick up another one. Everyone's wondering where they are getting shot from, and honestly, this shell does so much work. It is crazy. It is absolutely nuts, and I absolutely love this tank for it. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm essentially trying to clear out the C point so I can go and capture it for myself. I'm going to flank around. I'm pretty sure that the flank has been cleared, and I'm going basically back around the safe way, and lo and behold, there's a Type 74. Type 74 is busy looking at other things. he gets shot from behind by me and doesn't notice. So, lucky me, man, lucky me. There he goes. Ammunition rack detonated, and another easy kill. That's number 6. We're going nuts here. And this, for me, was, to be honest, quite a nice break from the pain that was the Hunter F6 and the Stormer. There's a Saddam Hussein dies again. There we go. Another kill. And at this point, it feels like I'm spawn camping, even though the spawn is another ridgeline away. I'm starting to sort of push into their spawn, and my team has done really, really well to hold the south flank. So kudos to the team. You've done really well, and I really appreciate that. But yeah, I think this tank is the star of the show. It is crazy good when it's in the right situation. And I think, if I remember correctly, it has the best 105mm shell that's not the Abrams. I believe that the angled pen is some of the best in the entire game for a 105. And I think it even rivals that of the Chieftain. So, we've got some good penetration here on a good shell. We just got to sort of use it correctly and get used to it. It takes a little bit of learning, and that's something that I would strongly advise. I would strongly advise that you, take a little bit of time to figure out the gun, figure out the shell. I wouldn't bash yourself too hard if you're sort of struggling. It took me a while. It took me about a dozen games to get this one. This is probably game number 12, 13, something like that. And the previous games went pretty poorly, to say the least. Mostly because I was playing poorly. But for the most part, you've just got to get used to the tank. You just got to sort of get past those little things like the gun sight and the shell velocity, the speed, learning to use the speed, because sometimes that speed can be a weakness. It's a very fast vehicle, and what you've got to realize is that if you have speed, you've got to not use it to sort of just ash rush into the objective and get shot down by God knows what. Maybe Big Tungus is out and you've up-tiered yourself, or maybe there's a Capard, or maybe there's a BMP, because the BMP is actually surprisingly ferocious to this, and you don't have a 20mm to deal with it, so you got to be really careful. Part of the tough thing about this tank is learning how to position it, and essentially with any Leopard-like tank, you are not looking to take a city fight. That's for the T-55s, that's for the T-62s. What you've got to do is you've got to look for ridge lines, you've got to look for flanks, you've got to look for, sneaky spots, ambush positions perhaps, and you've got to come from those spots. Otherwise, you're not going to get any kills and you're going to be shut down like I was in the previous few games, because, I'm a genius like that. Types, what is it, Type 89, SPAAG, and, or Type 87 rather, gets shut down by I believe that's a T-55 AM1. I can't really read that from the preview window that I'm given, but that's pretty much game. That's pretty much game over. We're looking at a solid 9 kills here. Honestly, that's just crazy good for for this tier. It was really, really fun playing this, and it was just such a nice, relaxing battle. I sort of didn't have to really sweat it out, didn't even get shot at. This tank, when given the right situations and when, put on a good flank, is really, really deadly. And if it's something that you're perhaps looking for to grind out the Leclerc, the Roland, the AMX-10 RC like me, then honestly it's not a bad pick. I would certainly pick it up if I had to, spend my $50. It's really, really fun, and honestly, it was the thing that I was hyped for the patch, and, it's proven itself. I'm really, really ecstatic that it is the way it is. Anyway, ladies and gents, thank you for watching. Take care, and I'll catch you next time. If you made it to the end of the video, comment below, Baguette Bias is real. See you guys.